Hi everyone, my name is Barry. As you can see, I'm at home. You are probably wondering, lost episode? Well, first a little backstory. On May 11th, I went to SeaWorld for Inside Look, a behind-the-scenes experience that SeaWorld does. Well, I made a video that was almost 2 hours long, and I got home, I edited it the way I wanted it to be, everything was perfect. Then when I went to upload it, I accidentally deleted it. So everything was gone. And I was so upset. So the following weekend I went back to SeaWorld to do it over. So I did the whole thing all over again. And you know it as episode 16. Well, just recently I was clearing some computer files and I stumbled upon a file called 51119. And I clicked on it and it included clips from that original video from Inside Look. It was mostly from Shamu Stadium and a little bit of Bird of Prey. So I figured, why not? I put it together. So without further ado, here is a portion of my lost episode. Enjoy.
Really great stuff. I'm so glad you're here for Inside Look. It's so cool to get you guys this close for our animals and see what we do in the back area. We have 5 killer whales here at Shamu Stadium, 2 males and 3 females, and the females are behind us right now. So hopefully they'll pop up so we can kind of tell you who's who. We have an adult female named Katina. She is an amazing whale. She's about 43 years old, and she's actually, there she is. Here's the one further over. She weighs about 5,400 pounds. She's fully grown, and she's had 7 babies here at SeaWorld, all in the front pool. Pretty incredible stuff. She actually gave birth in 1985 to the first killer whale born in the care of man. And from that, we have learned so much about killer whale gestation, nursing, lactation, and the milk content. So we've learned so much knowledge. So pretty incredible stuff. Now in this pool with her is her daughter, Nalani. She's 12 and a half years old. She'll have a birthday coming up in September. She weighs about 4,200 pounds, and she is a fun and playful animal. Such a joy to work with. But she's a juvenile, so she has quite a bit of growing to do still. Yeah, female killer whales can get between 5,000 and 8,000 pounds, so she may get much, much bigger. And then the third female in this pool, her name is Malia. And Malia is also 12 and a half years old. She weighs about 4,300 pounds. She's a little bit longer and thinner than Nalani. They look a little bit different. There's Malia right there. Yep, that's Malia. She's a little bit yellower. She's not quite as bright white. So they all look quite a bit different. And, you know, a lot of people want to know how the trainers can tell the whales apart. Well, to me, the killer whales look as different as all of you guys because I see them every day. They have different shapes of their dorsal fin, different shapes of their tail. In fact, the killer whale tail is kind of like a fingerprint for us. They each have a very individual tail. The shapes of their body and their faces and their personalities are all very, very different. So as trainers working here, our job is to get to know them all individually. We also have the 2 male killer whales that are in the back pool right now. Our largest, 5,800 pounds. Sounds pretty big, but he's going to double in size. So he's only 13, so he'll double in size. His name is Trua. But all of our killer whales have amazing personalities. They're very individual, so the trainers get to know them. And our best part of our job is being creative and fun every day. So every day we come up with new ways to interact and have fun with our whales. So Malia, for instance, loves the toys that we have. So we have a big toy box with all kinds of different things she can interact with. That's some of her favorite stuff. Katina really seems to like the fish. She really does. And then Nalani, big buckets of ice cubes or a hose on her back. Those are some of her favorite things as well. And each killer whale has a different amount of food that they get every single day. So they have a different food base. And the vets and our animal training team decide on the appropriate amount based on their metabolism, their age, their weights. So we weigh the whales every 2 weeks so we can kind of get a grasp on what their growth rate is doing. But just like you guys eat different amounts of food, same is true of them. But all of our killer whales' food bases are between 100 and 160 pounds of fish every day. Yeah, it's a lot of fish. We get that ready at 6 a.m. every morning in the fish house, which is right behind you. They get 3 types of fish, capelin, salmon, and herring. And they really seem to enjoy that, and they get all their hydration from
was that her? Is that her calling?
Yeah, she's asking for some fish and ice cubes right now. They love, love, love. It's That's Malia making some vocalization. Here comes Nalani. Oh, there's Malia right there, Nalani over there, and Tina's following her. They're very social animals. Now, Katina, the one that's had 7 babies, is our matriarch of our group, which means she is the leader of the pod. And in the killer whale world, the females are the leaders. So, yeah, Tina's the leader. And she teaches all the whales which way to go and what to do, and they seem to really follow suit.
She's literally following her.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's really cool. So take a look out here, you can see.
She's following you.
There's 7 million gallons of salt water in this system. Yep, it's a very large system of water. Yeah, come say hi to us. Come say hi to us. And it's salt water and it's 55 degrees, so it's quite chilly.
Wow.
How are you doing? So good. Very, very playful. So Nalani's looking at you guys. Oh, she's going to cool you off. She's going to cool you off. Thank you, Nalani. But they're really fun. And the trainers have a very special bond with the whales. And as a supervisor, one of my jobs is to plan on that board right over there the day for each whale and each trainer, what shows they're doing, what playtime sessions they're doing, what they're teaching the whales. They're always learning new things. We're always keeping them mentally stimulated. And when they're on the run, everything's on that board. That's our show board, our day planning board, and it's kind of a guide for each trainer. Now on a given day, we have between 12 and 14 trainers in a day. They work with our 5 killer whales, and we're very, very fortunate to have 3 short-fin pilot whales back there. They were stranded in southern Florida on the beach with a big group, and they were able to be rescued and rehabilitated, but the government deemed them non-releasable because they stranded when they were babies and they didn't learn how to hunt and feed. So we're lucky to have them. They're beautiful animals. We've learned so much from them, and they're involved in a lot of research. So it's really great. Really great to have them. I think they want you guys to move to the next station. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. When they're not performing, are all the gates down where they just do whatever they want at night? They go in there?
So different pools are open every single day, different times of the day. So there's a lot of rights and different parents and animals to be together. That's all
I'm gonna find some shape like theirs.
Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? I'm going to be right up here so I can steal some of this shade too because it is warm today. You guys think you're hot, try running around a black belt and cook all day.
Or blue.
Got it. I got a nice break for mine. Anyway, so my name is Lisa. We're going to talk about our husbandry stuff here at SeaWorld. This is right next to our medical pool. We call it our med pool. All of our animals are trained to actively participate in our own health care. One of the ways we can do that is by getting blood samples from our killer whales. So what do we do when we go to the doctor to get a blood sample? Put out our arm, right? Cry. That's what I know. No, we put out our arms, and we have to keep them nice and still. We can't be moving our arm around like this. The doctors have to be able to give us a blood sample. So our killer whales can't give us their arms, of course, but they're trained to roll into their backs and present their tail flukes to us and hold them nice and still. There's a very prominent vein that runs through. If you look at the tail flukes over there, that's the actual size of one of our whales' truas tail flukes. So there's a very prominent vein that runs through that our veterinary team is able to get a blood sample. We can do a number of different husbandry procedures. Of course, they do the blood, we can do fecals, we can do blow cultures, we can do ultrasounds, x-rays, weights, measurements, and I think the coolest husbandry behavior we do out of all of them is we can actually get urine sample, meaning we can train our female killer whales to actually pee into a cup. And so we're able to monitor their hormones the same way we would do with us, see where their cycles are. Pretty cool, right? Well, all this information would be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to get out in the wild. It's not like you can roll up to a killer whale in the wild and say, hey, pee in this cup for me. So we're able to share all the information we get with different researchers. So we're working on different research projects with killer whales. And we learned a lot over the years about killer whales. For example, before SeaWorld, they thought killer whales' gestation, or the amount of time they were pregnant for, was 12 months, same as a dolphin, but it's not. Female killer whales' gestation or pregnancy is 17 to 18 months long. Can you imagine that? Twice ours. I couldn't imagine. I just had a baby of my own. I couldn't imagine being pregnant for 17 to 18 months. Sounds terrible. We've also learned the thickness of their milk. So we learned that killer whale's milk is about 35% fat, about the consistency of melted ice cream. So what we've done with that information is our veterinary team has actually been able to make killer whale formula. So if we were to find a rescue or abandoned animal, we would know exactly what to feed them, how much fat they need in their diet. We do that now with dolphins and manatees that we find and we rescue as well. So that's something. So if you were to flip them over on their underside, you'll see, so it's turned over. Right by their tail flukes, you'll see their genitals. Females, so the way you can tell it's a female is they'll have one line and 2 dots on the side. The guys will just have 1 line. The 2 dots on the side of the girls is their mammary glands. What will happen is the babies will swim along underneath them and they'll turn sideways and that mammary gland will pop out and they'll create a seal with their mouth and it's able to get the milk out that way. Pretty cool, right? They actually swim in what's called the slipstream, meaning that they basically, the stream that the mom creates will pull the babies along with them. Yeah, it's really cool, right? So when a baby killer whale is born, we estimate they weigh about 350 pounds and they're about 7 feet long. Pretty big, about the size of 2 kilo whales.
Wow, that was a big splash there. You missed the splash. It was like a big splash right back there.
They splash a lot. So another study that we were able to do is, like I said, we're able to get measurements on killer whales. So I know exactly how long are killer whales, how big their pectoral flippers are, how big they are all the way around. Like I said, that would be very hard information to get out in the wild. So one of the researchers we were working with, she was taking drone photographs of killer whales, but she didn't have anything to compare it to. So we measured our killer whales. She then came and took aerial photographs of our killer whales. We did the same study with our pilot whales. And she compared it to the photographs she was getting out in the wild. That way they were able to get accurate size and age ranges. So she knew kind of what the pod age and size ranges that she was studying. So that was pretty cool. Another really interesting one is we were getting the thickness of the blubber to compare it to animals out in the wild. Why? Because our killer whales have a very healthy blubber. We know where they're getting the correct amount of food. Killer whales in the wild are facing overfishing and pollution. It's having huge impacts on their population. And they can also affect, if they can't get the right amount of nutrition, it's going to affect that blubber layer that they have. So we're finding animals that are malnourished, their blubber wasn't the same compared to ours, that we know they're getting the correct amount of food every day. Yeah, they didn't have the factors there. You guys have any questions for you?
Now, who's this one that just got in this?
This is my Kyle. He's our youngest Leo. He's 8.5 years old. He's also our smallest, about 3, just under 3,000. But he has physical recompeting. We felt out of it.
What's hurricane preparation look like? Do they all stay back here?
They stay there. We make sure everything is prepared. They're fine on the wild. They get out of the water as well. But the main thing is making sure nothing goes.
Do they know when weather's coming? Do you see them kind of like swimming around? Do they know the barometric change?
I don't think so. Now sea lions, I think, know this.
Sea lions?
Yeah, because I worked with sea lions too. And I saw more of a change with them than I did with
Now, how come these 2 pools are closed?
We switch which pools they have throughout the day, so we are constantly changing what environment they have.
So these 2 shows are not, these 2 whales are not going to be in this show.
They might be. I haven't seen the board yet. But you guys actually can learn more about Enrichment and how we change their day if you follow her around that way.
All right, my dear.
You're next. I know. Just helping them along.
Listen, you're not beyond
Laura, they tried whale done and they want to meet an author. Hi guys, welcome to Echo Pool or E-Pool here at Shamu.
Want to get down, buddy?
I'm one of the animal trainers here. Are you guys having fun at Shamu Stadium
Yeah.
so far?
You actually used to be with the Dolphins because I used to do a gift shop right near.
Yep, I used to work with the Dolphins, but I've actually worked with killer whales much longer. I've worked with the killer whales collectively for about 5 years now, and I love them very much. So I'm super excited you guys got to come back here today. What we're going to talk about in this station is something called enrichment, and I'm going to ask you guys if you have any questions before you go. Sound good?
Yeah.
Awesome. So enrichment's a weird word, but basically what it means is a change to the animal's environment or day. So that change can look like a lot of different things. Could be a social change where animals are interacting with each other in a new way or a different way for a really long time. It could be an actual physical change to the environment. Like if you look right behind you there are some boulders or rocks. Those boulders or the rocks are actually being added periodically over the last 6 months or so into the pool to our right-hand side that we call G Pool. And those rocks eventually, we hope, are going to serve as a hiding place for live fish. We're going to be able to actually put live fish into this environment and the killer whales can interact with the fish or not. We have used live fish in the past as environmental enrichment. Sometimes the killer whales are like all about the fish. There's a couple killer whales that are like, I could take or leave the fish. They don't really interact with them at all. Same thing is true with the rocks. Some of the whales will actually interact with the rocks themselves, and some of the killer whales don't even look twice at the rocks. They don't care about the rocks. Same thing can be said for some of our toys too. That's another type of change or enrichment. If you look all the way over to your left-hand side, there's hundreds of combinations of toys that the animals can receive throughout the day. You'll pass by them again as you exit, so feel free to take some photos while you head over there. Some of those toys weigh over 100 pounds, by the way, so it takes multiple trainers to put them into the water. It takes one killer whale to toss it into the air like a coin. It's not a big deal to them at all. But because they're so heavy duty, you generally speaking can't find them at Walmart or Target. So instead we actually make them ourselves. The one that I made is the white one with the yellow woven strap pieces. Kind of looks like a trampoline as you pass by it. But I made that back in 2015. I still have pictures on my phone and on my computer of Malia playing with that toy for the very first time. So that's a big part of our day too. And some of our day and our changes to our day are what shows animals are in and out of, what sessions they are or are not doing. Trua and Mikhail are actually a perfect example of that this afternoon because we have a show that starts in about 10 minutes or so. They're going to be hanging out back here, so they're not going to be in that 3:30 show. But maybe they'll be in the 5 o'clock one. Maybe when they're in the 5 o'clock show, they'll do the first 2 segments, but not the last 2. Maybe tomorrow they'll do all 4 segments. So we're always making sure that the day is super different. That's another type of enrichment or change that we can always implement into the animals' lives. Now, what questions do you guys have that you've thought of already about enrichment or anything else you've seen so far at Shamu Stadium today? Or just in general that you want to know about killer whales?
Well, I've seen you guys, like, not just way up the dolphins as well. You guys have those whistles. You guys, like, blow those whistles, call them over?
That's a great question you asked about our whistle. Like, what does this whistle do or mean? So this whistle is our way of saying good boy or good girl. Killer whales and dolphins both have very good hearing, but they tend to hear higher pitches just a little bit better than like medium pitches, and our voices would be considered like a medium pitch for them. So we use our whistles to say good boy or good girl. So every time I blow it, and I'll blow it right now, but you'll see that the whales won't do anything different. All it means is good boy or good girl. So it's kind of like if your kids are playing on a playground and you just went, hey, you're awesome. And that's that. You just tell them that they're awesome. That's the way that it is. That's exactly what the whistle does. So we also call it a bridge, in case you want to talk like a trainer. We call it a bridge sometimes too. What's your question? Where is Shamu? That's such a great question. So Shamu is actually like the last name of the killer whales here at SeaWorld. There was originally one individual named Shamu way back in the 60s. She was the very first killer whale that SeaWorld ever had. And we keep her name attached to us at SeaWorld in her honor, because people did not have good relationships with killer whales for a really long time. Before SeaWorld started housing killer whales were hated by human beings. And I'm not exaggerating. They were used as target practice in the United States Navy. They were shoot to kill animals in the Pacific Northwest. There was an estimate at one point that about 50% of the animals at one point in the Pacific Northwest had been shot at one point. And they actually still do necropsies on animals where they still find bullets lodged in their muscles. They were hated for such a long time. But Shamu and other animals like her changed that, because when they started housing them in zoos, you got to see them up close. You saw that they were intelligent, not mindless eating machines. That they could learn, they were beautiful, they created social interactions with each other and with us as people. Shamu changed a lot about how we feel about killer whales. So in her honor, we keep the name Shamu in our stadium and part of SeaWorld, but there's no individual named Shamu anymore. So now it's kind of like the name Smith. It's like the Smith family or the Shamu family. Good question. We have time for one more question, I think, before you guys head out. Anyone have one more?
Is that so they don't get sunburned? Like the...
Oh, the shade structure?
Yeah.
Well, killer whales in the wild wouldn't have shade, right? Like they'd be in the open ocean. But shade structure is something that we do provide for all of our animals, so that is what it's here for. But we don't really need to worry about it as much as you might for like other animals that are outside of the water all the time. Like killer whales, they're not going to find shade out in their natural environment, but it is a shade structure just in case. Yeah, that's what it's there for. The temperature of this water is 52 degrees. And then 52 degrees in here. Yep, and then the ones with the pilot whales are in to your right-hand side is 65.
Wow.
Yeah. How do we keep it that cold? We actually, I wish you could go see that part of it, but there's the size of like, it's this height, like all the way up to the roof, but it's a huge building that is a filtration system. Like that's all it is. And it basically churns the water through to cool it and to clean it too. So it's a filtration system and a cooling system kind of all wrapped into one. And that filtration system actually filters all 7 million gallons of water every couple hours. So they're always getting clean water throughout the day. Good question.
You're in a good area right here.
I think so. This is my favorite station, personally. We want to thank you guys so much for joining us here at Inside Look today. If you end up with any other questions, feel free to come on back. Our doors are open till 4:30. We'd be happy to see you guys again. In the meantime, Anna's going to escort you guys out towards the exit. Don't forget to take some photos of those toys as you pass by and touch them if you want to know what they feel like. We hope you have a great day here at SeaWorld. Thank you so much. Have a good one, everyone. Thank you.
You can stay in the chair.
Didn't know we were here.
Why is it SeaWorld? And if we can assist the government or NOAA or Fish and Wildlife, we're absolutely there. We've been there since the 60s doing all of that. I haven't been here since the 60s, but close.
Can't hear,
Dead
can't
sea.
see.
Equal bald when it has feathers. It kind of does look bald, you're right. But B-A-L-D-E back in the day was the color white. So instead of saying there's the white-headed eagle, they would say there's the bald eagle. So that way, when I have people come up to me in the park and the man takes his hat off and goes, oh, I'm a bald eagle, I'm like, no, the gentleman next to you with the white hair, that's
Does the eagle...
Can I ask you how much you think she weighs? Only because I love asking this question. How much do you think? 25 pounds. Anybody else?
12.
25? No.
12.
3 pounds? 12 pounds?
30.
30 pounds? Okay.
400.
Okay, so here's a couple of tips. If I took all of her feathers off of her and I weighed them all of her feathers would weigh less than a pound. Remember earlier I said that their bones are hollow? Okay.
Okay, I'll stick with 3 then. I'm back to 3.
If it's hot, she's going to be less. If it's colder, she's going to be a little bit more. If you go to Alaska, up in the 20s, maybe 25 to 27 pounds. The best way to describe it is go home, get a gallon of water or a gallon of milk, and stand with one like this. I'll show you. Stand like this. Best shoulder workout ever. Me though, on the other hand, I only have it on the left arm, so my left shoulder is like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Strong like eagles.
baby.